Wouldn't it be nice if all we had to do in order to add or subtract fractions with unlike denominators was to simply combine the numerators, then combine the denominators? Unfortunately, however, that won't work. There are 4 steps involved in adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. 1. Find the least common denominator, or LCD. 2. Convert all fractions to a fractional equivalent with a common denominator. 3. Perform the addition or subtraction operation, and, if necessary, 4. Convert improper fractions to mixed numbers in lowest terms. Let's look at a typical problem adding 2 fractions with unlike denominators. The denominator of 2/3 is 3, and the denominator of 3/4 is 4. In order to add these 2 fractions, it will be necessary to convert both fractions to fractional equivalents with a common denominator. Finding the least common denominator is the first step in the process. We can easily find the least common denominator, or LCD, of 2 or more fractions by creating a chart listing the denominators in the column on the far left side of the chart. We can then multiply those 2 denominators by 2, 3, 4, and so on until we have found a product common to both or all denominators. That factor is the least common denominator, or LCD, of the 2 or more fractions. After multiplying the 2 denominators by 2, 3, and 4, we can see that there is a factor common to both numbers, and that factor in this problem is 12. 12 then is the LCD. We are now ready to convert 2/3 and 3/4 into fractional equivalents with 12 in the denominators. Let's take a quick look at our original equation. We are adding 2/3 and 3/4, and we know that the LCD is 12. The next step is to convert both fractions to fractional equivalents with 12 as the denominator. Let's look at the fraction 2/3. We know that we must multiply 3 by 4 to get 12. In order to change any fraction into an equivalent fraction, we must multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. In this case, we will multiply the denominator as well as the numerator by 4. We have now changed the first of the 2 add-ins, 2/3, into an equivalent fraction, 8/12. Now let's look at the second add-in, 3/4. This fraction must also be changed into an equivalent fraction with 12 in the denominator. We know that 4 times 3 is 12, and since we know that in order to change this fraction into an equivalent fraction, we must multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, we must also multiply the numerator by 3. We have now changed the second of the 2 add-ins, 3/4, into an equivalent fraction, 9/12. Let's summarize what we have done so far. We have converted 2/3 and 3/4 into their fractional equivalents, 8/12 and 9/12. We can now add those 2 equivalent fractions because they have the same denominator. The result will be 17/12. This completes the 3rd step in the process. The final step is to convert any improper fractions to mixed numbers in lowest terms if we need to. 17/12 is an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. We will convert 17/12 into a mixed number by dividing 17 by 12. When we perform the division problem, the result is a quotient of 1, a divisor of 12, and a remainder of 5. We will now have to reorganize that into a mixed number. The result will be 1 and 5/12. And you are done.